Morning YouTube. So we're at the end of week 12. And the weigh-in this morning was half a kilo. So I've lost another half a kilo. Not as much, as I've been losing of lately, but that's fine. I mean, so long as it's going in the right directions. I realise I can't maintain the level of loss that I have been doing. So half a kilo, that's great, which is about just over a pound. So that's fine. And I'm surprised at that, to be honest with you, because I had what you could call a couple of cheats last week. There was a couple of days where I just didn't feel like cooking. I was just, you get these days when you just don't feel like it. And another day I just felt really hungry in the afternoon, and I thought, oh, we didn't have much fruit in the house. We were a bit low on supplies. And I thought, oh, what can I have? And I found some bread. Well, bread's got sugar in it, so processed sugar. So that's my cheat. And I ended up having Marmite on toast. And that's the English Marmite, by the way, which we can get over here, because the Kiwi or the Australian Marmite is actually got sugar in it, whereas the English Marmite is just the yeast extract. It's got no sugar in it. So, sugar was in the bread. What can I do? Say. So when I go grocery shopping this week, I'm going to try and source some bread without sugar, but I don't really want to eat a lot of bread. I want to stay away from it. We have been having wraps, which are pretty good as well. So if I sort of cut them into quarters or halves, fold them in half, put them in the toaster, and they swell up quite nicely. And they're actually quite nice to have with soup or a dip for a change rather than bread. So I'm going to try and stick with the wraps. But again, a couple of the ones I had sugar in them, so I need to source some wraps without sugar. So hopefully I'll do that this week when I go grocery shopping. And then the other little cheat I had was last night. We had some friends over, and they stayed quite late, and by the time we got, something, was getting up to get something to eat, it was quite late in the evening. And I thought, oh, I can't be doing with the green dinner meal right now. I just want something I can shove in the oven and it will cook and we can eat it. And I ended up doing fish and chips. So I've got chips out the freezer, fish out the freezer, and of course the fish was cod, but it did have a crumbed coating. I guarantee that probably had sugar in it. I didn't check, because if I check, I'm not going to eat it. I could have taken the crumb coating off, but I didn't, and I ate it, and it was very nice. And my husband ate it as well. I was like, oh, this is lovely. We had a normal meal, if you like, for quite a while. So, once in a while, it's not going to hurt if I do that. It's no big deal. I still managed to lose half a kilo. So next week, we will get back on the bandwagon, shall we say, and stick to the vegan meals as much as possible. The other thing I've come to a decision is we've recently changed over. We had a massive chest freezer out in the garage, which was only quarter full. And I thought, it's ridiculous having this huge freezer. It's only the two of us. So we sold that one, and we've bought like an upright freezer now. And of course, I transferred everything into the upright, and we've got a lot of meat out there still. We've got pork and beef and some chicken. So I'm slowly feeding the beef to the dogs, but it is quite lean meat, so I've got to be careful that I can't give it to them every meal, because it's too rich for them. Because obviously when dogs get in the wild, when they go out and feed and they forage for food, if they killed a rabbit or something, they'd eat the whole thing, including the bone. So I'll probably get some bones for them in the week and give them that, so they can have a bit of that as well as just the plain meat. So we've gone off the track. So I've cancelled the green dinners for a little while, because I'm going to cook my husband some of the meat as well. Not all of it, like I said, give him some to the dogs. So we can get rid of most of the meat that we got here, because I can't bear to throw it away. I've said to you before, it's just, I can't do that. We'll use up the rest of the potato products that are in the freezer. There's not many left there now. And so I'll cook him some meals with the meat, and I will just have the vegetable side of the meals you know, and stick to that as much as possible, or even do myself something else. I can always do myself an omelette or some scrambled egg. You know, there's options, put it that way. So as soon as we get rid of most of the meat, then, you know, we'll probably go back on the green dinners, especially for the summer. But I thought, you know, we've got all this food. While we're on the green dinners, we're not using it, and it really needs to be used up. I mean, we've had the meat in the freezer for quite a while, and this freezer's not what I call a deep freeze. You know, although the bottom drawers are where the meat is what they call the deep freeze. But the other drawers are like 3 months. You know, they get less and less the higher in the freezer they go, so you just got to watch out for that. So that's the plan. I'm not going to cheat when I feed my husband the meat. And he's more than happy to accept the meat. I do have a couple more green dinner meals still left from last week that we've got to use up. One of them we're doing tonight, and then in a couple of nights we'll do another one, and then, you know, I'll start feeding him the meat. So apart from that, it's been a reasonably quiet week across, which is good. That's enough said about that. We've been really busy in the garden. We've had masses to get done in the garden. Spring is my really busy period. You know, trimming stuff, cutting back, tidying up, keeping on top of the weeds, which is a full-time job basically around here. I've got to get out and spray the paths and around the perimeter of the property. Excuse me, I just had my breakfast. So that task will be tackled hopefully this week. I have to have a non-windy sunny day because the spray has to dry and I don't want any drift, so I can't have any wind. So I've got to pick my day to do that. So hopefully sometime this week that'll get done, and that entails walking quite a distance, probably several kilometres by the time I get round the perimeter of the property twice, because I do the outside and then the inside of the perimeter of the property, and it's 10 acres here, so it's a fair old trek. And I've got this big pack that I wear on my back, a backpack sprayer, which the faster you go the lighter it gets, because you're spraying and pumping and spraying, and it's really heavy when you start off. So it'll be the first time I've put that on my back this year, or since this weight loss program. So it'll be interesting to see how I cope with it, because I didn't cope very well with it last year. I got to the point where I had to actually only fill it up with like, I think it takes 16 litres, and I ended up filling it up with 8 litres at a time, so half its capacity, because I found it really heavy and I did struggle, you know, carrying it. So I'm going to fill it up to capacity this year, and I'm going to go around and I'm going to see how I cope. And I'll let you know, because hopefully I can cope a bit better with it now. You know, I've lost a bit of weight. We had a little bit of a panic in the week. We thought the pond was leaking. We thought the liner had failed. And I sort of got a little bit upset about that, to be honest with you, because it is a major job to do the pond. I've got a pond and it's in 2 parts. It's got a bridge going across. It's one big pond, but the bridge is going across the middle. And I know we paid quite a lot of money for the liner, and I think it had something like a 10 or 15 year warranty, but it's only been in just coming up for 5 years. Well, no, actually it's not even 5 years, because we didn't do the pond right away when we moved in, and we've been here almost 5 years. So probably about 4 years. So yeah, I got really, really upset about that. And I kept topping it up and couldn't figure out what was going on. Anyway, my neighbour come up in the week and she said, well, why don't you try switching off the fountains and see if it's still, you know, fill it up. So we did that. We switched off the fountains, we filled it up, and sure enough, it was the filter. It stayed full overnight because it was going down by a considerable amount overnight. And sure enough, the filter had failed. What it was doing, the water was going in the filter. The outlet where it comes out and goes down the waterfall, the outlet had got blocked, so the water was being pumped in by the pump, and it was just overflowing out of the filter and causing, so basically it was being pumped outside all night, the water. So that was not good. Anyway, my husband's fixed that. It was quite a simple fix, so we just got to make sure that we keep an eye on that outlet and keep it cleared for the future. But I was so relieved the weekend when I found out that we didn't have to do that, because I have got to go in the pond and give it a bit of a clean up, but I didn't want to empty it out. I was really not looking forward to it. So that's good news. So you see, I'm going off and talking about my garden, and this is not a gardening channel. I can't help it. I'm passionate about the garden and gardening. So what's happening this week? I've got, it's our Orchid Society show. Again, I've gone off the subject. I'm talking about orchids. Sorry. So I've got a quite nice week coming up. I'm meeting my son today, and we'll go off for lunch, and I'll be good. I'll get a Subway with a wrap. And hopefully I'll have a good week this week. And it's all been really quiet. So I'm sorry I went off subject. I can't help it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like or dislike and subscribe. And I do appreciate your support. It does mean a lot to me. And I know that somebody's listening out there, and that helps. And it just keeps me wanting to keep going, not just for myself, but also for my family and my health. And so little wobbles last week, they weren't major, so back on the bandwagon this week. Bye.